Hi guys! So I'm going to do a short little video here on a homemade dessert that I've been doing for a while. It's brownies. It's super simple. I stopped making box brownies when I found this recipe because it's that good and the husband really likes it, so that's a bonus. I found this at All Recipes. It is not my recipe. It's one I found online. I will try to find the link and put it in the description below. I've been making these for over a year now, so I don't know if I'll be able to find it or not. If I can't, then I have it wrote down. I will just put it in the description below if I can't find the link. I really want to find the link. So I'm just going to take a second, get my camera set up the right way so that you can see what I'm doing, and you pretty much won't see me. You'll just see what I'm doing. Okay, so I have everything set up that I need. So I'll be right here. First thing you're going to do, preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Super simple. And this is the pan that I use. I believe the recipe says an 8-inch square pan. I just use this heart-shaped pan because I really like it. So, and it works and everything fits in there. So that's what I use. You can use whatever you want. This makes 8 inches, an 8-inch pan of brownies. So as long as it's 8 inches, that's all that matters. It could be squared, circled, heart-shaped, it doesn't matter. Whatever you want to use it. So I went ahead and got my pan ready to go. And you'll see, because this is silicone, I put this inside of another pan. It doesn't really do anything. It just makes me feel better about it. Because silicone in an oven just makes me think I'm going to make a mess. Okay, so you're going to you need a pot. And this is just a medium saucepan. Turn it on about medium heat. I'm using electric. So then the first thing you're going to do is take a half a cup of butter, which that is the entire stick. Okay, so 8 tablespoons. It's a whole stick of butter. This has been setting out. I didn't want to have to wait that long for it to melt, so I have it set. It's warm. It's room temperature for sure. It's been setting out for a while. Okay, and because this is a Teflon pan, it's one of my good pans. I'm going to use my silicone topped whisk so as not to scratch your Teflon non-stick pan. That's a big no-no. Don't use metal in a non-stick pan. I see people do that all the time. It drives me crazy. So don't do it. I just kind of whisk this around to break up the butter a little bit just to help speed it up. Because I get sick of waiting for it. Okay. It says to melt this and then remove from heat, but I don't wait because I'm impatient. So the next thing I do is dump in my sugar. Yeah, the recipe says to melt the butter completely and then remove it from the heat and then add all the ingredients. But I found that the ingredients mix a little bit better if you leave it on the medium heat, pretty much until you get almost everything in there. But with this, save the eggs for last, or you're pretty much poaching your eggs in your mixture, which is not very good because I did that and had to dump it out the last time and start over. So my mixture's starting to melt pretty decently. Next, so that was a cup of sugar. Next, I'm going to go ahead and add my 1/3 cup of unsweetened cocoa powder. It's a very simple recipe. There's not much to this one. One of the reasons I picked it for this, it's a short video, and my husband's been wanting brownies, so we'll give him what he wants. He's cute. Okay, very easily mixed up. And we got half a cup of all-purpose flour. Just mix these all in really good so that they're not lumpy or clumpy. And as you can see, it's really easy to do this when, go ahead and turn that heat off too once you get to this point. It's really easy to mix all this in when it's warmer, which is why I leave it on the heat. And then I have an electric stove, So it stays warm even though I turned it off. If anybody cooks with electric, they understand that. It does not cool down very quickly. So I'm going to bring this just over here, off the heat, a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to take my 2 eggs. And it also says to beat the eggs first, then dump them in. I just dump them in. There's nothing wrong with that. Still comes out amazing. Still tastes pretty good. Husband still likes them. And again, I only think of recipes as guidelines. You can do what you want. You know you and your family better than anybody else can. So if there's something you don't like, take it out. If there's something you want to add it. And I actually do that with this recipe quite a bit. I've made it my own, even though I did get it off of All Recipe website. I've made it my own. I do follow the main portion of the recipe, and then I add chocolate chips to it, which we'll add at the end. It's the last thing that goes in, just because you don't want them to melt. And the one time I also did add pecans when I was making it for my husband and my best friend. They like pecans. I don't. This batch, I'm not doing pecans in. I also noticed when you do pecans in it, it takes about an extra 10 minutes to bake. Not sure why. Again, I'm not a professional chef, but it did take an extra long time for us to bake it when we put the pecans in there, which is fine. No big deal. Just if you do add pecans, remember that it may not get done the first time. So the next thing we're going to do is add some pure vanilla extract to it. This is the kind that I use. You can use whatever you want to use. It says to add 1 teaspoon. So I'm pretty sure that's a tablespoon. That's what I use. Again, I know my family better. I know what we like. We like a little bit more flavor to it. So I'm going to use a whole tablespoon instead of just a tiny teaspoon. So there that goes. Need to get some more vanilla too. Okay, and just whisk that in. And again, as you can see, I don't have to use a mixer or anything with this. It's all on the stovetop. All in one pan. You do have to dirty some measuring cups, which is fine. That's nothing. That's simple. Pretty easy. Okay, so the last thing that goes in according to the recipe, it does say 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I did try that the first time I made this, and I don't know why they want you to add salt to stuff. I tried brownies one time with salt. I didn't like it because the salt kind of like come to the top and made like a crusty, salty layer on top of the cupcakes. Same thing happened with this. I put the salt in just like the recipe called for, baked it, and the whole top of it tasted like salt. So I do not put the salt in here. It does say 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I don't do it. But it also says 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. So I do put that in there. Here's a teaspoon, just 1/4 teaspoon right in there. This is going to be washed. Mix that up. My oven's been on for a while, so it's already hot. That's why you didn't hear it go off. Look at this batter. It's so good. This is probably one of my best ones yet. It's so smooth. Not clumpy. Very brownie length. It looks like just like when you bought brownies at the store. Okay. So last thing I do, get one of my spatulas out. Okay. Give somebody around that can lick the batter. Although I know, don't eat egg, raw egg, it's a bad thing. Okay, so my chocolate chips, I do keep them in the freezer too, and keep them until the very last second before taking them out, just so they don't melt, because that's still warm. And I don't like them to melt. I want to be able to taste them when they come out of the oven. I want fudge brownie with chocolate chips in it, not just extra fudgy brownies. And you can do whatever you want. A cup, 2 cups. I just kind of cover the top. Just like that. And I just give them a little stir to stir them in. One time I did put them in the pan on top of the batter. It ended up coming out like lava cake, which, I mean, that's not bad either, I guess. Okay, so we're going to take our, look at that, very yummy batter, and just dump it into our pan. You can see these make very thick brownies, which I love thicker brownies. And the one good thing about this silicone pan, it's quite nice. It makes the edges just perfect. Okay, so look at that. Just give us a little bit of a shake, knock some of the air out. Do it on a hard surface if you need to. I just like to bring some of that air to the top. And then, like I said, because that is a silicone pan, just to make myself feel better, I put it down inside of my cast iron skillet, and it's my smooth cast iron skillet. You see I have two. This one's a grated one. You guys will be seeing them a bunch too in my videos. I love my cast iron. Okay, so we're just gonna pop this in the oven for 25 minutes or so, depending on, we'll check it at 25, see how it does. That's normally all it needs. They're gonna go in the oven. Again, that was at 350 for 25 minutes, and then at the end of 25 minutes, I will come back and show you the finished product. Okay, so it's time to take the brownie out of the oven. And as you can see, if you look, it's starting to pull away from the sides, which that's one indication that it's done, but you always want to check your metal too. Toothpicks or butter knife. This is just a forker that I have. Just check it. And as long as it comes out clean, you're good to go. So let this cool for just a few minutes, or not. Go ahead and eat it if you want to. It is very hot though, so we just take a couple minutes, let it set, and you're good to go. So that is the brownies. And I will post the recipe in the description. And if you have any questions, just comment. Thanks.